This week on The Wise Guys.
That I can't be effective and fight for my peoples the way in at 100% because of who I decided to fall in love with. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't think that and this comes from me, maybe certain people can't. Maybe certain people literally, because I've seen it, have to be a certain way here and they have to change their way here.
Do you ever have to change?
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. That might be what works for me. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't have to. I listen to everything I'm talking to you. Mm-hmm. I had these conversations at home, right? If I wasn't able to be pro-black at home, I could not be with this woman, white, black, or nothing. I had a grandmother at home, right? 2014, I had to live with my grandmother. She's black from Alabama, as black as they come.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Kevin Anglade, and you are now tuning in to the Wise Guys podcast, brought to you by Flowered Concrete. Check it out.
Yo, what's going on? This is your boy, Kevin Anglade, and we are back. We are back for another week of the Wise Guys podcast. Unfortunately, for another week, Mark is not here today, but nonetheless, it's going to be a great show, all right? Wise Community, today's episode 20, is a case of black and white. Again, episode 20 is a case of black and white, all right? Man, so as you all may remember, back in episode 16, I had two good friends of mine, two great, beautiful souls, two great, wholesome young men by the name of Vitelli Chapman. All right, shout out to Vitelli, and also Carl Desir, two co-workers of mine at a new nonprofit that I work at. They came on the show, and we talked about Lost Boys, and how young black men of color kind of get off, or can get off track, before or by the time they reach adolescence. We were supposed to originally have this person, this fellow brother right here, who I have on the show today as a guest, but unfortunately to some personal complications, he had to run and get some things done. But I am so happy to have him on the podcast today. Before I initially bring him on and introduce him, I just want to say this, Wise Community, when you look out into the community and you see that, there are other brothers such as yourself who are setting the pace, setting the example of, being great men, being wholesome, being respectful, taking care of their kids, their family, just strong in general, that truly, it truly does something to you. And I know he'll remember this. The first time I met this guy at orientation at my job, I went into the restroom or whatnot, and, we both were using the restroom. And as I was leaving, I was, right behind him. I was going to wash my hands. I saw this guy take out tissue and then literally just wipe the surface of the sink. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's something my mom would do. I was like, I can't believe that he actually did this. So, honestly, from there, I already knew that once I got a chance to chop it up with him and talk to him, that I already knew this has to be a great brother. Not to mention, he has dashing good looks as well, and he carries himself well put together. So, ladies and gents of the Wise Community, I do not want to waste any more time. I want to get this man right onto the show as we speak. All right. So, I'd like to bring on our guest for today, my brother, my man, Curtis Sincere. Curtis, welcome on to the Wise Guys podcast.
All right.
Baby.
It was great meeting you. Excuse me. It was a pleasure meeting you as when we did. It's been great to be on your show. I look forward to this great conversation because we do have some great conversations already. Yeah. So this is going to be powerful, man. I'm privileged to be here, and I'm great that you allowed me to come here and express some of my thoughts and opinions, man. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. First and foremost, on the behalf of Mark, who's not here today, Mark and I are very, very happy to have you.
Shout out to Mark. Shout out to my boy
Can't
Mark. Can't wait to introduce myself to him as well.
Oh, man. He'll be up here in Hartford soon, for sure, without question. So a lot to talk about, my man.
Yes, sir.
First thing foremost, Wise Community, for those of you who don't know, we're currently recording on a Saturday right now. I'm in my jammy jams. Kurt came straight from home to kind of get this thing rolling, and he was very, very nice to bring coffee. He said yesterday, yo, I'm going to bring coffee. I was like, nah, man, I'm good. He's like, yo, Kev, I'm going to bring coffee. What kind of flavor you like? I was like, nah, man, but I appreciate the gesture, man.
Yes, sir.
This is very helpful and nice pick me up for the morning.
Thank you, man. No problem. I just wanted to show love and respect and I like to serve, man, and this is like my way of serving. You know, great men serve people, so this is my way of saying thank you and trying to show, you know, we all can serve each other, man.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So many things to talk about, so many things to cover, and I can get started in all different types of ways. But the first thing we like to do, Kurt, when we bring our guests onto the show, is that we ask them, or we request that they provide a 30-second elevator pitch synopsis about who they are and what do they do. So could you please inform the WISE community who you are and what do you do?
Yes, sir. So my name is Curtis Sincere. I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. I look at myself as I'm just a man going through the process. I've been in the human services field for 16 years, just trying to give back to the community. I come from a broken home and went through a lot living in Hartford growing up. And so my thing since I've been out of college is to try to give back and trying to find out myself at the same time. And so that's what I've been doing the last few years, trying to give back to the community. I've been blessed to actually, have a family and have some kids recently. And so that's really what I am about. I'm trying to give back to the community, at the same time find myself. I'm a father first. I got 2 beautiful new kids at home, and I also got a 13-year-old beautiful daughter I'm taking care of, and 2 step kids. So that's what I am. I'm a man of God, trying to be better, and that's who I am in a nutshell, man.
I love it, man. I love it. Again, we're so thankful and fortunate to have you onto the show today.
I am as well.
For sure. So I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get right into it, man.
All right.
Let's
go.
As our boy Vitelli would say, let's get right into the shenanigans.
Let's go. He does like that word.
Yeah. All right, man. Shout out to Vitelli.
Shout out to V.
Can't wait to have you back on, brother.
Yes, sir.
So the first segment today, Curtis, and as well as WISE community, is called A Case of Injustice. All right. A Case of Injustice. All right. So before I read the question, I would just like to say, man, Just Mercy, powerful film.
That was
powerful film.
Yes,
WISE community. The reason why we're bringing up Just Mercy is because Kelly, not Kelly, but shout out to Kelly too. But Kurt and I work at this nonprofit. Shout out to them for hiring us and bringing us on board. And
Big shout out
we've
to
been
them.
really, really tight as we've been kind of getting to know each other. Over the past few weeks and whatnot. And so they sent us to go see Just Mercy recently, and wow, such a powerful film. And I'm wondering too, brother, did you ever get a chance to see When They See Us on Netflix about the Central Park 5?
I did not get to see that movie, actually. I heard about it and I saw some great reviews about it, but I did not get to see that movie.
Okay, cool. So, and I remember we had a conversation recently, and you were saying to me that you don't really get a chance to go out to the movies much.
Right, yeah.
So, but it's cool though. So, I'm just going to throw a couple of films at you and a couple of reference points before I read this first question.
Okay, got it.
So, Just Mercy is one.
Yep.
All right. And then you have When They See Us. All right.
Yep.
So, you have Just Mercy. You have When They See Us. Let's see what else here. There's another film, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Detroit. A film called Detroit.
No, I don't think I've heard of that one.
Okay, yeah, Detroit as well.
Okay.
And you've heard of the book called To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever heard of this a book? It's a book, actually. And it's also, it's been made into a film called Native Son.
Yes, I have.
So Native Son.
Yes. Yep.
And
Native
then,
Son.
So Native Son.
Okay.
And then there's also Big Boy Leaves Home. That's a short story.
Big Boy Leaves Home?
Big Boy Leaves Home. Check that out as well.
Will do.
Big Boy Leaves Home. So all of this, like the reason why I name all these films and these stories, Kurt, is because they all have one thing in common, right?
Yep.
Which is racial injustice.
Got it.
In some form or fashion, right?
Yep.
And even though you haven't seen or read a lot of these pieces, the fact that you saw Just Mercy, you know where I'm going with this. Okay, so the first question I wanted to read to you, and we could talk about the movie. We can go however you want to go with this, if that's okay with you. First question I wanted to ask you is, or bring up to the, to the conversation today is, were and are Black boys and men painted as predators in today's society?
I'm sorry, say that first part again.
For sure.
Yeah.
So were, as in referring to the past and currently. So were and are Black boys and men still painted, or are they painted as predators in today's American society?
So maybe not as today as predators anymore. I think we were maybe until maybe about 10 years ago. I think now but it's maybe not as much as predators, but I think they do look at us still as criminals. You know, so we might not be looked into their eyes as predators, because I think that they've been forced to kind of be a little bit more sensitive to who we are, and understand that, and at the same time be accountable to who they are. So I think they have to look at us different. You know, they have to, and I think they do, but they still don't have the best light on us. They still have that, you know, it's woven into their fabric, but they still do look at us as criminals, I believe.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting with Just Mercy. I forget. Do you remember the name of Jamie Foxx's character? I forget his name. Hopefully
Johnny D.
Johnny D. Yeah, man, you got it, Johnny D.
Yeah. McMillan, I believe. Johnny D. McMillan.
Johnny D. McMillan. Yeah. McMillan. Yep,
Yeah.
Johnny D. McMillan. And the movie was so powerful, man. I couldn't believe that this man was simply doing his job, right? It seemed to me as if he was a lumberjack, no? You know, because he was chopping off the tree.
Yeah. Yes, that's what he was. He was, that's
then,
like his own little personal business he had.
Right. And then he was heading home. And then they stopped him, right? And the sergeant, you know, pretty much told him to get out the car and all this other stuff. And, you know, he got out the car, but he didn't know what he did, you know?
Right.
And it seemed, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, the way he was stopped with all those police cars and cadet soldiers with, you know, with their rifles out,
right.
You would have thought that he either was a convicted felon or had committed some heinous crime,
right.
such as like a mass genocide of people somewhere or whatnot.
Right.
Because it looked like the feds, state troopers, like they were
all in on him. Right? All in on him. They want to take him out right now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So the reason why I bring that up to you is, obviously, you know, hopefully, you know, by the time this episode definitely comes out, you know, the movie will have been out for like, you know, 5 months, 6 months. Yeah. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the movie, I'm going to spoil it for you. He is taken in, but eventually he's set free, right? He's found to be not to be guilty.
Years later.
Right. But why do you think that it happened to him the way it did, in terms of like just being taken in, whatnot, and people not really going through his case or giving it due diligence, just, you know, hearing the word of this man and just taking it all for what it was. To me, it seemed as if he wasn't granted or given a fair shot. What do you think?
Absolutely he wasn't. You know, absolutely he was just railroaded. They already had an agenda. And that's this in today's times, that's the world we live in. Facts are second. It's the agenda is first. Whatever's the agenda of that person or that individual, that's what comes first before the facts.
Right.
So the fact was that sergeant and that sheriff needed to find someone. It's been almost a year.
Right.
And the pressure was on them. Yeah. And I guess the guy was just new sergeant, so he was trying to make an impact. It's political. Yeah. So let's find the first Negro that looks like we can get something on him.
Absolutely.
And that's what they did. They didn't care who it was. He came in that area. Well, whoever comes up, we gonna get. And I just happen to believe Johnny D was just that man. Yeah. You know, I think that whoever happened to be in that area when they were looking for what they were looking for, they were gonna frame and put everything on, and that's what they did. That's why I think all those cops and all that were already stationed there. They were already, whoever comes up this road at this time of night, if he's black, he's it. And unfortunately at that time, that was a regular nature. Yeah. That was an everyday thing. Yeah. You know, that's and I always tell people this that are so surprised. And I'm upset at our people for being so surprised. Because I always think about, so what world are we living in? You know, like who has the power? Yeah. Who has the laws? Who's making the decisions? Who's our Supreme Court justices? Yeah. So we have to look at things different. You know what I mean? We today we can't be as surprised as we were 20, 30 years ago. Right. You know, today. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And that's where I feel like things will start changing. Once we realize, just like some of our Dr. Claude Anderson and other people I respectfully listen to say, once we realize the game we in, we just have to play it different. It's true. This is a race. That's why this is a race, you know? Yeah. So I think, you know, for me, I wasn't as surprised. It was just hurtful. It hurt me a lot just to kind of have to reflect on those feelings and emotions and see what our peoples had to go through. Yeah. It hurt me a lot to witness that, but it didn't surprise me because of the world we live in, you know?
Absolutely. So I know you haven't gotten a chance to see When They See Us, but are you familiar with the story of the Central Park
Yes,
Five?
I am very familiar with the story.
So it's interesting because when I just watching Just Mercy, it brought me back to the Central Park Five. Obviously, the Central Park Five, that was before my time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was, 1988, 87, somewhere around there. And, man, I was born 91, but I became familiar with the case by watching When They See Us. And then after that, delving into my own research, the racial injustice that happened with those boys at that time. And it's interesting to me because, I forget her last name, but Lacey, I remember, was her last name. I think the woman who was found raped, brutalized, and beaten.
Okay.
In regards to that case, there were so many boys in the park that night, and they pinned it on the 4 boys or 5 boys, that they could find that would give them alibis in regards to what happened. And because they picked up, I think, 25, 30 of them. They just hauled them in vans and whatnot. And obviously, none of those boys are the ones that did it. They were just, causing a ruckus in Central Park, just having a good time, having fun, and it was actually, I forget his first name, but Reyes, the Hispanic brother who had done it. And I find it crazy. Like, we live in a sick and cruel world, especially in American society, where young African American men of color can be taken in for a crime and not have anything to do with it, but to be convicted of it, right? And I forget the name of the prosecutor that was on that case, man, but I think it goes back to what you were saying, political, right? In regards to the sergeant in Just Mercy. She was trying to build up a name for herself.
Right.
She was trying to build up, something that would definitely launch her career into stardom in terms of the criminal justice system.
A personal agenda.
A personal agenda. So I say this, this isn't an official question that I had to ask you, but, just having this vibe back and forth, it kind of leads me to wonder about this. Does racial injustice coincide and correlate with personal agendas within the criminal justice system or within the hierarchical structure of racism or of capitalism in the society at large? What do you think?
Racism unfortunately is embedded in our fabric of America. The people that started this, owned slaves and whatever. They didn't view us as human. They viewed us as what? Property, right? And so these things are woven in our system, and even in our own job where we work at. We've had people, I'm sure that you remember, we have instructors even admit that we're dealing with a system that has institutionalized racism built in it. Right. And so we're trying to break down the walls of that. Still, how many years has this been? But we're still trying to break down those walls. So it's when you have the founding fathers who owned slaves or whatever, then had their views, and they're our founding fathers. It's woven into our fabric. It's been passed down through generations, through decades and decades, right? And even though we have some good ones, we have some people that want to change things, white and black. It's still the powers that be. It's in the fabric. So things for us to it has to kind of be destroyed. Things have to be kind of start over and be destroyed, and new roots woven into the ground for justice to really spring for everybody. So until that happens, we have to understand that we have to look and think different. We have to feel different. It might not be fair, but it's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And as you know, and from even stories we've talked about, life isn't fair.
Absolutely
not here. Life isn't fair. Absolutely. Maybe in another world that we don't know, but life isn't fair. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, in the 1500s, when America made race an issue, just for social gain, it was just for social gain. They made race an issue. And that's when race became an issue. Now blacks and this and that. That's how it is now. It became agreed in a social thing, and that started it in our system. That's how we built our beautiful country in 17 whatever. It started before him, and it just wove into our fabric. Right. And it's up to us to get it out, bro.
Absolutely.
It's up to us.
No,
I don't know if I answered your question exactly.
That was good. That was good. That was good. We just, wise community, we just warming up. We flowing. We just flowing. We warming up. I swear, I'm gonna pinch this man and I'm gonna put him in a box in the corner in a moment. But I'm just trying to get him all psyched up and ready. Okay, so again, When They See Us, Just Mercy, the film Detroit, man. Shoot, I have it right in my DVD collection, brother. Mm-hmm. This film, you ever heard of this film?
I did hear it.
Great, powerful film, man. I definitely advise that you check that out.
I definitely will.
Definitely check that out, man. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Definitely.
I actually showed it to my students.
Good actors.
Yeah. I actually showed it to my students when I was a middle school teacher. Mm-hmm. Great, powerful film. One of my faves. So Native Son, this book right here, right? Mm-hmm. And Big Boy Leaves Home. It's a short story from Richard Wright as well.
Okay.
And To Kill a Mockingbird. The commonality of all of these stories, right? The commonality of all of these stories is that there is a close proximity to white women. Right? Mm-hmm. And so, Just Mercy, if I'm not mistaken, the young teenage girl that was killed, I think she was 17 or 18?
18, yeah.
18, right? Mm-hmm. And in Detroit, you have these 4 young men of color during the Detroit riots in 1967 that were accused of shooting back at soldiers who were patrolling the area. Mm-hmm. And at the I can't remember the name of the motel, but they were staying at this motel. And the white women were there with them, but they were on different floors. So they got accused of actually sleeping with the white women as well and whatnot, right? But that was like a subplot to the main plot of the story. And then with Native Son, the story of Bigger Thomas. Right. He ends up killing Mary. Due to his proximity to her in regards to him being her driver, and then trying to my favorite novel of all time, man. I love Native Son.
I have to read this, man. I've heard about it, but I haven't
man, it's a great book.
I'm glad you put me on.
Yeah, and there's also a film too. Did you see the film?
I didn't see
Ashton
the film.
Sanders?
No, I just heard about it.
Check it out.
Yeah.
There's a 2019 film that just came out.
Okay.
And he ends up in the book, he ends up being a driver. He's from the south side of Chicago. And he ends up being a driver for the Daltons. So Mary Dalton is the daughter of a rich man, Mr. Dalton, who owns a lot of properties in Chicago's Black Belt on the south part.
Got it.
And so he donates charity-wise to the black folks and gives to them whatnot. Okay. And so he's actually doing a favor by having Bigger Thomas actually live there. Okay. So Bigger Thomas is portrayed and vilified as this beast and as a demon after he kills her daughter. He goes on the run actually. So what ends up happening is she ends up drunk, right? He's actually, as her chauffeur, I think he's only been on the job for like a day or two.
Oh, jeez. So,
long story short, I'm gonna get straight to the point. And I'm not actually revealing anything, because if you look at the synopsis of the book in the back, it tells you that. Right. So he actually ends up being hired as her driver, as the chauffeur for the family. They're rich. They're millionaires. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he drives her and her communist boyfriend. I forget his name. Hopefully it'll come to me. To a restaurant on the South End. They want to go to the South End or the South Side of Chicago to experience what it's like to live amongst black folks. Mm-hmm. So they're like, Bigger, take us to, the coolest bar, in your part of town, whatnot. They're thinking that they're helping, but they're actually not, because the black folks are looking at them. Even Bigger Thomas's girlfriend, she's like, what was you doing with those white folks? Blah, 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 But when he sees her, he pretends he doesn't know her. You know what I'm saying? He kind of just like, puts his head down and he feels embarrassed. There's like a whole, so the book is a story that propels back and forth the emotions of this black man as he's trying to come to grips of navigating the space of walking through a white world and trying to figure himself out. Right. But then first night on the job, after dropping off her boyfriend at the house, he brings her back. She's drunk out of her mind. He brings her to her room and he lays her down in the bed, and he's looking at her and he's like, oh my gosh, like, she's so beautiful. And then he's like, no, what are you doing? Like, this is someone who you work for. So he's like, man, like, I can kiss her right now. So as he attempts to get closer to her, mind you, she's drunk out of her mind. She's saying all these things. He's just totally discombobulated. Mm-hmm. Her mother walks in the room, but her mother's blind. And then she's like, Mary, are you here? So Bigger puts his hand to her face, and then he ends up asphyxiating her to death, because she couldn't breathe. So now she's choked out. And the mother is like, oh, she's probably sleeping. So the mother walks out. And when Bigger realizes this, spoiler alert, he realizes this. First thing that comes up in his mind is that he's just murdered a white woman. They're going to lynch him for this. They're going to kill him. So he brings her to the fireplace and then he throws her body into the fire.
Oh, wait a minute.
You have to read this book, man.
He suffocated her on purpose? Not suffocated?
No, because she was talking. Remember, she was discombobulated. So he covered her mouth so the mom wouldn't hear.
Oh, my
You know
goodness.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And you got me on.
Man, you got to see it, man. And so as a result, he ends up on this crazy, thing where he's like on the run. But the thing is, as he's like, before he goes on the run, before they realize it's him, and I'm gonna wrap this up, Wise Community. I know I've been rambling, but as he's, doing his thing, the investigator comes, they can't find her body, they don't know what's going on, she never came back, he's lying, whatever, whatnot, and he's lying to Mr. Dalton,
right.
Her father, whatever, whatnot, and they're questioning him, and then he's like, no sir, I don't know, and the investigator's like, there's something he's not telling us. And they're like, nah, Bigger, we just hired him. He's good people's, whatever, whatnot. You can't, because they're trying to advocate for black people,
Right.
But Bigger is smart because in his head, he's like, they see me as the yes, sir, nigga. So there's no way that they could possibly think that I did this heinous crime. So he's playing that. Yeah. But until one of the reporters, because reporters are on the scene, they're taking pictures of home, they find a bone from the fireplace. And they're like, oh my gosh, it looks like a body was there. So then from there, he runs up back to his room, jumps out the window, and then it starts this manhunt where they're after him. Right? So I bring all of this up to you, my brother, because
that brother put himself in a bad situation,
man. Really bad situation.
Jeez. But I understand his thought process, though.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this white woman that just passed away, and I did it. And whether I didn't do it or not, they're going to look at me as I did it.
Right.
And they're not going to even care about my story. As sincere as it is, they don't want to hear it. I'm going to be hung and my kids are going to be hung.
And this is the Jim Crow South, 1938.
Yeah.
You
don't have a shot.
You didn't have a shot. You have a shot. Well, not the South, because it's Chicago, but it's 1938 still. That's still a very racially high tension time.
You don't have a shot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first thing he thought after he realized that he killed her was that they're going to give me the chair. That's the first thing he thinks, So the reason why I bring all this up to you is because have you ever heard of W.E.B. Du Bois's double consciousness? His theory called double consciousness.
No, but I know W.E.B. Du Bois. But
okay, so you haven't heard double. So double consciousness is this idea or this concept that black men have a binary thinking process in regards to white people. Such as in, if I get rear-ended, and this actually happened to me one time, when I used to live in New Haven, I got rear-ended by a white man who hit me, as I was heading to work. I got out the car calmly, and, he got out the car to assess the situation, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, okay, it's fine, whatever. I look at the car, I assess the damage, nothing really happened. I'm like, okay, cool, and I'll go about my way. So the double consciousness concept is that as a black man, you think in you think in a binary way. First and foremost, you think about what a black person would do in a situation, and then you would think about how a white person would react to you reacting a certain way. So when I stepped out the car, I'm thinking, man, I'm pissed, like this guy just rear-ended me, but then I'm also thinking, if I overreact or if I even raise my voice, it can lead to something magnanimous of huge proportions that I will possibly regret. And as black men, or women, we go through that a lot. We get pulled over by the cops. We think of two ways. Either I'm going to go home free tonight, or I'm not if I raise my voice or something of the sort. So the reason why I bring that up to you is because, To Kill a Mockingbird, Tom, he was going by this white lady's house every single day. Until one day she asked him to come over to help her out with something else, and then she starts kissing him, whatever, whatnot. And then he runs out of there when her husband comes or her father comes, because he says to himself, or he thinks, they're going to lynch me for this, I didn't mean to do this. She just pulled me into the house. But what I'm thinking about is my safety and what's going to happen to me. Why do you think that occurs, man? Why do you think that as black men, we think about this? We think about, oh my gosh, like they're going to give me the chair, even if you didn't mean to do it. Why do you think that black men have this binary thought process of what I actually think and what white men or what the society itself will think about what I've done or what I am mean to do.
Right. I think like a lot of it's one of it part of his survival mode. I think that in those times we weren't given the rights as other people were. All we were basically is just surviving. When we were born at that time, we just had to learn how to survive.
Yeah.
Happiness wasn't even the first thing on our mind.
Yeah.
It was survival because we don't have anything.
Yeah.
And everything we do have comes from someone that doesn't want to give it to us anyways. So it's like everything is a survival mode. And I think that so those times, like the lady that raised me was born in 1919. My great grandmother, right? Not around the corner, Sisson Avenue. Right
oh wow, okay, yeah.
Her story. Every time I thought I had it tough, or she would give me stories like this. Her own family, though, been through things like this, right? And it made me realize that these things, again, like as I said, are woven into our fabric, passed down. Thoughts and influences are passed down. Yeah. So that's another key thing I'm going to stress: our influence.
Influence, okay.
Influence means a lot, because influence goes beyond color. Right. You see, when I go to a lot of people's homes dealing with a lot of kids, right? And I go to my friends' homes and they're white and they have kids, young kids, and I look on their walls. You know what I see? Wow. I see LeBron James. I see Kyrie Irving.
Right.
I see Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I see Michael Jackson. I see Tupac.
Right.
What do all they have in common?
Right.
They're all black.
Right.
That's that's influence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Influence kind of goes through color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're a kid, because you haven't been able to wrap yourself into the cruelty of this world that we live in. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So for our people, man, in those times, that was a train of thought, because first off, they weren't too far off from their parents being born into slavery or their ancestors born into slavery. My great grandmother who raised me, her grandfather was a slave. See what I'm saying? And she reminded me of that. Now imagine this. I'm born in 82. This is in the 90s, 1990s. And my grandmother told me her grandfather was a slave.
Wow. So it's really not that long.
It's not that long.
Right.
It's not that long. 10, 20 years is not really that long. When you physically it is, because we look different and all that, but not when it comes to the mind. Yeah. The mind is like the ocean. Yeah. It's so unexplored. We don't even we think we know what's going on. Yeah. And most of us are only using, no, I'm good. Most of us are only using, I'm so passionate inside. Most of us are only using 5 to 10% of our brain, brother. Yeah, that's true. I mean? We don't even, I'm telling you, I believe we can bend a spoon with our mind. I believe that. I might sound stupid, but
I have a cousin.
If we can tap into the power of our mind, we could walk into the jungle and control these animals. Right? These animals can smell fear. Right. These animals can smell blood. It's the mind, right? We can control things if we had the right mind and we're taught to think the right way. Yeah. Our people, because of our people being born into slavery, we were taught survival since day one. Right. We weren't taught to communicate. We weren't taught to express yourself. Yeah. We were taught to survive. Yeah. Because if you communicate and you express yourself, you would get killed. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we're teaching our kids to live in survival, kind of scared mode. Yeah. It's just passed down. So anytime if we looked at someone in the opposite race the wrong way, automatically we would, oh shoot. You know what I'm saying? So even just by a look. So imagine if we touched or said the wrong thing, and it's broken down, passed on to your son, and your son passes on to your son. Yeah. And then the only thing that changes is when the times change a little bit, and we can actually get along with people now. We can actually go to the same school as another race, or we can actually eat in the same restaurant. Right. Then things start to become your mind starts to change a little bit. Yeah, absolutely, right? Absolutely. So that's my perspective on it. You know what I mean? It's like ingrained into us. You know, just like some of us grew up eating crappy food. That's true. It's ingrained. I grew up eating pork. I always tell my friends, my abuela gave me a pork chop out the womb. Fried pork chop, whole bunch of grease. There you go. I'm sucking on the bottom. I'm sucking on the pork chop. Fat, drooling, all that grease. All that grease. I'm a newborn. All in my system as a newborn. Kev. infiltrate my whole body.
Yeah.
That's what we're being. Same thing about when you teach our kids and stuff. It gets in our brain at subconsciously at a young age, and it just infiltrates.
Without a doubt. Man, nah, that's good. So I wanted to move on to our second question. So Just Mercy again, powerful film. Man, that boy good, man. Michael B. Jordan, man, that boy good. When I say he's carving and defining a status for him that I think can meet legendary proportions one day, I think that boy's on his way. I think Vitelli said it too. He's on that Denzel territory right now. Like he's headed down that way. If he keeps projecting that way, he's picking great roles.
Yes, he is.
And I say that because
challenging roles,
very challenging roles as well, man. That's the second time he was in a film that made me cry, man. Yep. He made me cry with Just Mercy, and he made me cry with Fruitvale Station.
I was about to say the same thing. That Fruitvale made me cry, man. That made me shed some tears, man. We got get it right. I was wondering. I was like, hope you say Fruitvale Station. I was thinking that because that one had me.
That stirred my soul, man.
I didn't even think he had to act much in that one. I think that was more natural. It was just more natural. Being where he's from.
Right.
But just. It hit home so hard, man. Right. You know what hit me home? I didn't have my two newborns yet, but I had my daughter. And having a kid, being a black man with a child, he just had said goodbye to his kid. Yeah. He told the wife he didn't even want a girlfriend. He didn't even want to go out. Right. He didn't want to do any of that stuff. He wanted to stay home with his kids and his wife.
Yeah, he did.
You know, the mother kiss and let the mother watch the baby. Boom, boom, boom. I remember that so impactfully that he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And when that happened, when he died, the first thing I thought about was his daughter.
I remember.
And I think that's one of the thoughts he had.
Remember his last 4 words? When he got shot? I have a daughter, bro.
This is how Kev, like, as a father, especially, I saw that movie years ago.
Yeah.
That hit me. That's what I remember that to this. When he got shot, I have a daughter. Because you know what, Kev? If that happened to me, I think that'd be my first words, man.
Yeah, man.
And I'm almost tearing up, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Because it's just so real. Like my first, I have kids, man. Right. What about my kids?
Yeah.
Anytime I think about stupidity, what about my son?
Right.
What about my daughter?
Right.
What about my kids? They need me.
They need you.
When that happened, man, I swear to you, bro. I couldn't even watch that movie again. I watched it one time. Yeah. I wanted to watch it again because I loved it. Yeah. I understand. It brought me to a place.
I understand.
Where I don't want to be at.
Yeah,
so I said that movie was one because that part, you know, and it shows you the influence women can have on a man too.
That's very true.
Black or white.
That's very true.
They can influence us, man.
That's very, very
to
true.
Do things that we don't even really want to do.
Dude, that's true, man. And it's so crazy because like I don't have kids, but I can only imagine that when I do have children, God willing, that my perspective will change. Because I can watch that movie once a year. And I love to watch it because it's so real. I love visceral, true, real life movies.
Got you.
But I can only imagine if I have a daughter, like how much that will change my heart and stir my soul. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people probably don't think it will.
Yeah.
You think, oh man, a kid's a kid.
Yeah.
Not people like you and me.
Yeah.
I think people that are really in tune to who they are and real got that spiritual vibe in them. Yeah. When you have a kid, it really lets you know, man, this world ain't about me anymore.
Right.
Your whole mind kind of changes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe these fathers that don't mind seeing their kids once in a while, they might not think that way.
Right.
But my whole goal was to be the father I never had and really be the parent I never had.
Right.
So when I had kids, I said to myself, I don't care what's going on. I'm going to be there for my kids. Right. Whether I'm with the mom or not, whether I got to walk to school, walk to work, take the bus, I'm going to be there. Yeah. So men like us, man, when you have kids, man, it changes us because we finally realize now I can't live for myself anymore. You know what I mean? I have to better myself. So every decision I make has to be for those kids. Right. That they didn't have a choice either, Kev.
Yeah.
They didn't say, right, it was your actions, your lustful situation. Right. Because a lot of, and I'm included, not even married. Right. So you're not even thinking like an adult. You're thinking you meet a girl you like and, you know, you like this person and boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So
Or with good intentions.
With
too, like,
right.
You know, my fiance now, right? In your situation, right?
Exactly.
So now
I had good intentions.
Right, absolutely.
And I plan on selling, and I already told you I plan on marrying this woman. Right. I had good intentions. It's not like I'm coming here like a horn dog.
No, I'm just showing both sides.
Yes, sir, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
To give it balance.
I appreciate that. And it's, like I said, it's, so it's, I'm glad you did it, because it is a balance, you know. So you have the, again, when we talk about intent, you know, didn't have the bad intent, but again, you know, you had a kid, and regardless of the situation, what I'm saying is, I'm going to be there for my kid,
right?
And as a man, if you don't think like that, I don't care about your degrees.
Right.
I don't care about how nice your house is.
Yeah.
I don't care about your car. And I don't care how many times you bring coffee to work for your coworkers. Because people love to impress their coworkers and the people they only see for a limited amount of time. Meanwhile, they're treating their mother at home like crap. They haven't talked to their brother in months and years. They won't even pick up the phone and say, hey, there's something, can we fix our relationship? But you go to your coworker every day and you ask how they doing. And
it's very true.
So we have to realize accountability and who we are. And one thing that, like I said, that helped me was when I had my daughter. When I had my daughter, my life changed, because I was at a point too, not to get too off track, that I was really didn't feel valuable at all.
Right.
So anything that happened to me didn't matter. If I died, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
If I lived, it didn't matter, because nobody cares about me.
Yeah.
My mother's on drugs. My father's on drugs. They already told me I was an idiot for going to college with no money.
Wow, that happened.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they said, "Why you going to college for? I came home from college, first year, freshman year, main dean's list the second year, and they looked at me like I had 12 tentacles on my face.
That's crazy.
What you doing in college when you ain't got no money? Ain't nobody you asking us for money to pay for books, fool. We ain't no while they eating their chicken and we ain't got no money to pay for no books.
If you don't mind me to ask you, what year was this?
This was in 2001.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Millennium.
The millennium had just arrived.
Right.
Yeah,
this is people. You know. So again.
Oh, I just wanted to say, just to plug in our prior episode 19 actually was called "Is College Worth It?" All right, "Is College Worth It?" featuring Jonathan Nicholas, and Mark and John had a crazy back and forth about college and whether it's worth it or not. So
wow,
it's kind of fun.
I wish I could have been there. That was cool. Yeah,
for sure.
So not to get off too much topic, but that's what having a kid would do to you. It kind of changes your life when you're a good person. And it makes you put things in perspective too in the past, so you continue to grow and become even better. Right. And so that's again, that's what that movie did to me. It touched me in a match where I thought about my kid in my life, and man, it's tough for me to watch that movie again.
Well, it's interesting because which is why I think Michael B. Jordan is on his way, because two totally very drastic different roles.
Right.
One of a struggling young black brother who wants to do good, but he's still kind of caught up in this life of just trying to figure himself out. Yeah. And the other one of like a phenomenal man who equates to high caliber of a man in status as a black man, right? Harvard educated, law bound, the boss.
That's what caught me off guard when I thought the white lady he was into was the boss.
Right? No.
He said the white gentleman told them, "This is your boss."
She
said,
boss?
"Yes, this is my boss."
Absolutely.
Young looking, smooth looking black man,
brother. Yeah,
educated as the boss.
Yeah, man. Which I thought does an enormous amount of influence for young men of color, especially kids coming up.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we see more pictures like that. I thought that was great. Yep. Great for sure. So whether it's Michael B. Jordan as that character, I forget his name, but as that character in Just Mercy, or Michael B. Jordan's character of Oscar Grant in Fruitvale Station, right? You have one young black brother who's trying to find himself, but who's kind of caught up in this life of dealing drugs, selling weed, but being young and trying to figure himself out. And another one of just being a boss and, overachieving everything that, his parents or his family might have expected him to do and more. And also not being a statistic within the system. Yeah. So I say all that to say, is there anything, right? Think about both black brothers I'm talking about here. Michael B. Jordan in Fruitvale and Michael B. Jordan in Just Mercy. Two different brothers, but yet the same. Is there anything a black man can possibly do, Kurt, to change the perception of him in this country? Either whether he's Fruitvale Station or whether if he's Just Mercy. Is there anything a black man can possibly do to change the perception of him in this country? Because whether you're educated or not, they still look at you as one way. You still a nigga.
You're right. You know what we can do? Outlast their hate, bro, with love. We have to outlast their once-track mind, their stupidity, their lack of knowledge, their lack of education.
Mm-hmm.
We have to outlast it by continuing to be great like we have been. Right. Continuing to produce people like Michael B. Jordan. Mm-hmm. Continue to produce people like yourself, Kevin. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We have to keep producing these type of men.
Right.
And showing them. They can't, as you see, they can't hide the truth forever.
Absolutely.
It's sprouting.
Absolutely.
It's sprouting. They can't hide Tiger Woods forever.
Yeah.
Right? They can't. He's sprouted into golf sport, right?
Yeah.
And look now what? It's not theirs anymore.
Yeah.
It still could be theirs, but if Tiger Woods is on, everybody's getting more money. Right. Everybody's getting more viewership.
It's true.
You can't hide Serena Williams forever.
Absolutely.
She comes into tennis, and what she does, takes over. She's the best ever.
Yeah.
You can't hide greatness. All we can do is keep being great.
Right.
Keep being great, because there's gonna be people, black and white, that's gonna try to keep you down and keep you low. Because there's people, man. They love this. They love this whole black and white stuff, right? They love the fact that our peoples are being. They love it that our peoples are being killed. They love it that we can. That our influence is only at a certain level.
Right.
They love it.
Right.
But what I noticed, what I noticed about life is what they say: the cream will rise to the top. Whatever you do, the cream will you can keep not stirring it. Whatever you can do.
Yeah.
But
cream of the crop will
the
surely
sun
rise to the
still
top.
shines, bro.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so we have to keep fighting the good fight, bro. And it sounds corny, but it's not.
It's true.
It's not.
It's
like, I'm going to keep showing them who I am, regardless of how they treat, regardless of what job says, oh, you can't do this here, regardless of what people say you can't. My greatness is going to reflect throughout the world, and it's going to show people because influence.
Yeah. It's interesting. I spoke to Vitelli about this off air one day in conversation, and wanted to share this with you. You know, shout out to the nonprofit that we work for. I'm so happy to be working for them, and I think we're going to do a lot of great stuff. I love our organization, to be honest with you, man. I'm so passionate and look forward to everything they've done. And I feel like I've told you this before. I feel like everything I've been through in my life, God put me here for a reason. Without I wake up saying to him, and he's looking at me like, what I told you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. That's how I look at this. Yeah, for sure. And the reason why I bring that up is because, you know, no offense, because, you know, I've taught in the, you know, public school system, so as yourself, you know, all this other stuff. When you go to these nonprofits and stuff like that, you're happy for the mission, you're happy for what's going on, but then you're saying to yourself, well, where are the black women at the top? Where are the black men who, you know what I'm saying? And they are out there. You know, I want to make sure that is well known and relatively clear. They are out there. But when you see a film like Just Mercy, and then they say, oh, wait, he's your boss? You know what I'm saying? It makes me say to myself, like, I love that. And it was such a powerful moment for me to see, because we now have to take the next step to start our own nonprofits, to start our own initiatives. Because I'm not saying that, you know, white or whoever don't have the best interest for us at heart. But who more so to expose and to infiltrate the criminal justice system than our own kind? You know what I'm saying? So not only can we be appreciative of the opportunities to work in these fields, but we also have to aspire to be more. Shout out to my brother, Jermaine Meadows. He was on Wise Community, if you guys remember, or if you're just now tuning in and this is your first episode ever, check out episode, I want to make sure I get it right, episode 18, Good Kid, Mad City, featuring Jermaine Meadows, from East New York, Brooklyn, New York. Yo, shout out to you, boy. Brooklyn. All right, shout out to my boy Jermaine. I had a conversation offline with Jermaine during Christmas last year, and you know, we met up for dinner, whatever, whatnot, and Jermaine was like, yo, you know, because he currently is pursuing his master's in educational leadership at the University of Albany, but he plans on going for his doctorate and hoping to apply to Harvard. You know what I'm saying? And I was telling him how I, you know, hopefully would like to go down that same path soon too. And you know, he's from East New York. His pops, you know, was incarcerated. His pops just got out, whatever, whatnot. And he was telling his pops, you know, like he likes to go, you know, network and meet with people in other hoods, other territories in Brooklyn to go eat, whatever, whatnot. And his pops was like, oh, you don't want to go down over there, man, you know, because, you know, they, you know, we at war, blah, blah. He's like, yo, pops, like this is 2019, 2018, like, there's no, territories as much as it used to be back then. And he's like saying, like, even now, like, he surpassed the expectations his family had for him because his mom and dad didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go to college, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he said his dad didn't even complete high school and doesn't have more than an 8th or 9th grade education. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jermaine. Shout out to you though. But he was like, so often as black men, we settle and we get comfortable with just being here. He was like, yo, like, why should I just settle for my bachelor's, yo? Like, when I see guys like Dr. Umar Johnson and Claude Anderson and people doing immaculate and, outstanding things, like, I want to push and go beyond.
Shout out to you, Jermaine, with that thinking process.
That's my brother, man.
Because that's what we need as black men.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We get comfortable. So when you see a Michael B. Jordan in the parameters that he's at, and his office started real small. It was just him and Shorty with him.
Yes.
Then he started expanding and started getting all these people to work with him, and he had a full unit. He had a full staff.
Isn't that and he did it amongst people that didn't want him there, man.
Right, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
He did.
So
you get too comfortable.
You get too comfortable, right? And it's always whatever they give us. Like we just okay, good. No, man, we got to keep fighting. We got to keep growing. I don't care what stigma they put on us.
Right.
We got to keep fighting and keep growing.
Right.
We owe it to the generation coming up.
Right.
I feel so. I really do feel that Martin Luther and Malcolm and all these brothers you see on this shirt are disappointed in us, man.
Yeah.
Because as black men, we did not pick up the flag and continue their fight the way we should have. Right. We let integration and we let being comfortable. Make us change our mind frame, and we didn't fight as hard as we used to have our own bus company. Like Dr. Claude Anderson had. We don't fight to have our own taxi services. We don't fight to have nothing. Right? We don't fight to become teachers. Why is it 2020 and they're still looking for black teachers in the community in public schools? It's 2020. Right? It's not 1970, 1980. They're still looking for men like us in the school systems.
Yeah, and I said this on the last episode, and as well as a couple of episodes prior to. Only 2 to 3% of the national average for black male teachers is 2 to 3%. Only 2 to 3% in this country are black male teachers. That's very pathetic.
How and do you have the statistic on the education? What the list that we're on in America as far as the education, the top. Like the top, are we top 10, top 20
in regards to
education compared to other
where if I'm not mistaken, I don't correct me if I'm wrong, someone out there, but I've definitely seen somewhere around this. I think we're somewhere between 10 to 20, somewhere.
I think last time I checked, we were like the 24th.
Yeah, I was gonna
best
go
in the nation as far as education.
I was gonna go 20, like 15 to 30.
That sucks. It's horrible.
That is.
Especially with all the technology and all the resources we have.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah. Something has to change.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's again when things stay the same.
Yeah.
Things stay the same.
Without question.
Things don't. You know what I mean? If we don't advocate change and show it, we have to show it, Kevin. Definitely. Kevin, we have to be willing to risk our lives, man.
It's true. No, it's true.
It sounds stupid, man. It sounds crazy. It sounds right.
Because no one's out there risking their lives now. That's why we have no leaders. No one's out there on the forefront the way Malcolm. These brothers were ahead of their time. All these brothers were ahead of their time. They put their lives out there. They sacrificed their families to get change, to work for change.
Amen.
You see what I'm saying? No one wants to do that. Everyone wants to be a talking head, but no one wants to put their lives out in the forefront. It's like, oh no, I got my kids, I got my $1 billion business, my $1 billion company.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes. I hear it. And that's why we can't grow the way we should grow. That's why everything is slow. Yeah. Because we're trying to be kind of cute with it.
Yeah, we regress.
We're trying to be like them.
Yeah.
We're suit tied. Glass of wine, talk real nice, and that's gonna get me where I need to be. But you forgot you still look like
exactly
right,
without a doubt.
You can't get it that way, brother. You gotta make your own trail. With respect to the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like people love to have their prejudices and their opinions on stuff, right? And they love to cancel people out that don't think like them and don't do what they do and don't act like them. So. But we don't really, like you said, but that same person, they're really not really down to sacrifice their business or their family or other people or even their youth You got a lot of these people, brother, they wait until they're 50, 60 years old to now be part of the struggle.
Yeah.
Because they weren't willing to sacrifice their smoking weed and having, sex with everybody and partying at the clubs every weekend when they was in their teens or their 20s or their 30s or even their 40s.
Yeah.
They got to wait until they finally chill out, 45 to... Now let me fight for my peoples now.
Yeah.
I already had my fun.
Yeah.
Let me, you know what I mean? So it's hard, man, when we're so quick to judge and cancel everybody else out without looking at ourselves first and clean our own closet and seeing what we can do to make an impact.
Yeah.
Because that's what I try to do. Like, what can I do with what I have to make an impact on the world and to keep growing so I can have an impact like Martin and Malcolm and those people that are willing to give it all for the cause, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it, bro. I love it. Which is why I wanted to have you on the show, because I knew, this is what the people need to hear. You know what I'm saying? Excellent. So, man, we're going to transition off, man. This show is off to a great start.
I hope I'm not boring your audience, man.
I feel like
I feel like I'm not as fluent.
This
like,
is the content.
I should be a little bit better.
You're good. You're good, man.
Okay.
You're flowing. When you hear this, I'm sure you're going to be really impressed with what you're saying. So we're going to transition now. All right, wise community out there. We're going to transition to our second segment of the day. All right, our second and I don't want to say final segment, but our second official segment before we move on to our third closing segment. All right. So this segment number 2, is a case of interracial love.
Let's go.
I was going there, brother.
I couldn't wait.
A case of interracial love.
This is why I came.
I wanted to warm you up before I hit you.
Kev, you did some good questions too. You did get the ball rolling. You can tell Kev knows what he's doing.
Yeah, man. A case of interracial love.
Shout out to the Wise Guys podcast. This is a beautiful podcast, man.
We appreciate you, man. Before I ask this next question, I don't know if you want to just listen or if you want to write down some statistics, because this is what I'm going to throw at you. Okay. So here are some things here, right? According to the Pew Research Center, right? So this is from the Pew Research Center. So a couple of stats. According to the Pew Research Center, black men are twice as likely, all right? Black men are twice as likely as black women to have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. Again, black men are twice as likely as black women to have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. 24% versus 12%. So the 24% is black men and the 12% is black women. All right. For black newlyweds, intermarriage rates are slightly higher among those with a bachelor's degree or more. So for black newlyweds, intermarriage rates are slightly higher
for
among
the more
those,
educated?
Yeah, are slightly higher among those with a bachelor's degree or more. So 21% for those with a bachelor's degree or more. All right.
Is that men or just people in general?
Just black newlyweds in general.
Okay, black newlyweds.
Amongst newly married black men, higher education is clearly associated with higher intermarriage rates. You don't have to write this down. But so while 17% of those with a high school diploma or less had a spouse of a different race or ethnicity in 2015, this share rose to 24% for those with some college and to 30% for those with a bachelor's degree or higher. So essentially, the higher educated they became, the more they were likely to marry, right? And intermarry with someone of another race, and more so specifically black men. So this was at 30% for those with a bachelor's degree or higher. Okay. All right. So,
I'm ready for you. Go ahead.
You're okay. Cool. So this leads me to this question, and you were the perfect person to bring onto the podcast in regards to this, because you can speak to it from a personal perspective.
Yes, I can.
So the question for you, Kurt, is: are black men abandoning black women as they climb the financial, academic, professional, and corporate ladders? I'll say the question again for you out there, wise community, and as well as you, Kurt. Are black men abandoning black women as they climb the financial, academic, professional, and corporate ladders?
From that statistics, or the statistics you've given me, you could say that. And it does seem that's what's going on. But I don't think it's really abandoning the black women or vice versa. So one of the reasons why I wanted to come here and do the podcast is because me and yourself, Kevin, we were having a conversation, at our job, and we were talking about this, and I think I initiated this even, we were talking about Dr. Umar Johnson and all that stuff, and I remember I initiated the conversation, you responded, and we had a little bit of different point of view on it, which was a great thing. Like I'm that's what made me want to even talk to you even more, to be honest with you. Yeah. Because the way you were able to tell me your side, I had to respect it and listen, because you said it such good power presence, and you said it calmly, and it made me think. And I also was able to listen to Dr. Umar Johnson recently too, and he posed that same question about just interracial marriages and the genuine uniqueness and the just sincerity a black man can have if he's in an interracial marriage, fighting for the cause of black people in general. Yeah, I think, and to answer your question, I think I don't know if it's abandoning. I know it seems like you're saying they are, as more highly educated as they are, venturing off to different races.
Well, we don't have to speak educational wise, right? I'm saying financial as well, professionally, corporate, and as well as academically too. You know what I'm saying? So
what
we're
it
talking
is?
About sports. We're talking about all of these things.
You know what I believe, Kevin? We abandon ourselves.
Okay.
Right? Like as people as black men, black women, we abandon ourselves.
Okay, could you expound upon that?
We seen, from my own personal experiences, right? So I had an uncle that was he had substance abuse problems. Okay, early on in his life, and he was a little bit different when he was on substance abuse. You know what I'm saying? He was a little bit more, I say, humble, a little bit more like. He understood his flaws. Right. He understood, that he wasn't perfect and that he needed to do better and be better, right? But when he got off and he got clean, he forgot about the times he had to struggle and had to ask and had to humble himself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that in this society, they have taken away our brotherhood. It's, again, remember I talked woven in our, so the few people that do get a good taste of something, they are programmed to leave those others behind, because if not, then you can't get this taste. You can't come up here with us if you're trying to bring everybody with us. Right. So of your people with us. So most of our peoples, when we get a little success or whatever you want to call it, we do veer away. We feel like we don't know how to help our peoples or keep our peoples in mind. And I feel like it's because, a lot of it I think is because when we were born, Kevin, we were born in survival mode. Right. Even in our own families. Yeah. We weren't born with the tradition of, let's take care of each other. Yeah. We were born with, this is what we have over here. We have this, we have to keep this, or they're going to take it away from us. Yeah. And this is what we do. I'm sorry they're going through their struggles down the street. I'm sorry. And we're all in the same neighborhood. Yeah. But we have been trained to not really care too much about the other people, right? So that's one thing I think plays a role. And also, when we're raised in this environment of kind of survival mode and not being to really truly experience what is other cultures and other people and other environments, right? We kind of just get stuck to what people tell us and what people think. What people believe, traditions, right? So we get stuck with all those things. Yeah. We don't even have our own personal perspective. It's what's been feeding us since we were a child, right? And a lot of us don't even have the ability to kind of like, okay, now that I'm older now, let me learn certain things for what they are on my own. And let me experience things for myself. And let me get a true experience of things for myself. And let me see how life is. Let me see how people are. But we're even myself. When I was young, brother, I was my black side. I was told that, my uncle told me one time, I better not see you with no white woman. You come down to my house with no white woman, I ain't gonna know who you are no more. Yeah. And I didn't even know this was an issue. Right. He was just watching something on TV. Yeah. And he ended up telling me at 12 years old. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, and I think that that plays a role where it might be the first time we interact with a different culture, a different race.
Yeah.
We're so like we're like so overwhelmed, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That it might, some of us might just kind of like lead towards that because we've been so sheltered away from it all our lives. It's like that. It's sometimes it works in reverse. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to keep your kid. You're gonna be in the house and you gotta go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I'm not gonna have you out there. You ain't gonna get pregnant at 12 or 18 years old. You ain't gonna be a statistic. And then what ends up happening? That girl ends up getting pregnant by 18 years old because she found a way out to go on her own.
Yeah.
You were trying to restrict and hold her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she found a way to do it.
Well, if you don't mind me asking you, so correct me if I'm wrong. Your fiance, she's white.
Yes.
Is there a specific ethnicity? That's
Italian.
Italian. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking you, brother, with everything we just talked about in regards to earlier on the show, right, and as well as and even I'm going to throw this at you, Jamie Foxx, right? So, a quick story, and I'm going to connect it to this question. Shout out to Mrs. Scantleberry. I'm not going to say your first name, but you know who you are, Mrs. Scantleberry, one of the mothers of a very, very, very close friend of mine. She told me that when Just Mercy came out, even though she wanted to see it, she couldn't support Jamie Foxx because she said, how could you possibly take on a role like this? But you've been going home, lying your head down at night next to white women. And the reason why I bring that up to you is because for all the black ladies out there that are listening to this show, right? Because you're a black man, half black, half Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to play devil's advocate for a quick moment here.
Yes, sir.
They're going to say, well, you're talking all this, powerful enlightenment and all this, black uplifting empowerment, brother. But like at the end of the day, how could you possibly say those things or even be okay with, defending our own community when you yourself go sleep at night with a white woman? And I'm just asking that because I'm thinking in the perspective of a black woman and what would she say about that? A black woman who's either with a black man or aspires to find a black man to love. Right. What would you say to them?
To be honest with you, brother, my response to that is I respect that opinion because I've heard it before. And I've heard people say that, and I can see I can break it down to why they think that way, and I can't poo-poo on that. That's a great thought. That's a great question. My only thing is, brother, I go back to God's code.
Okay, yes.
I believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe in God's code. I don't believe that I can't be effective and fight for my peoples the way in 100% because of who I decided to fall in love with. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that and this comes from me. Maybe certain people can't. Maybe certain people literally, because I've seen it, have to be a certain way here, and they have to change their way here.
Do you ever have to change?
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. That might be what works for me. Now, I don't have to. I listen to everything I'm talking to you. I had these conversations at home, right? If I wasn't able to be pro-black at home, I could not be with this woman, white, black, or nothing. I had a grandmother at home, right? 2014, I had to live with my grandmother. She's black from Alabama, as black as they come. Okay,
right.
I had to live with her in 2014. I lost my job. I lost my place of residency. I had to move in and nobody wanted to to take me in. The woman that nobody wants to live with, I had to move in with. Everybody refrained from dealing with this lady because she's not a good person, and it's hard for me to say that. This is my grandmother, but it is what it is. She had 5 kids. The first kid she had 6. The first kid she had, she gave it for adoption because it was a female.
Not the one that raised you.
No, her daughter.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Her daughter.
Got it.
Right? And I'm going to correlate it too in a minute when we keep talking. So my grandmother, the lady that raised me was my great grandmother. Her daughter, my grandmother, right? She had 6 kids. The first kid she had, she was a female, so she gave it away. Yeah. She didn't want to raise no females. Yeah. Then she had 5 other kids after that, 5 all different men, right? And she didn't raise any of them. She only raised one of them, my Uncle Marlon. My great grandmother ended up taking those kids because she still wanted to live her young life and still was doing what she wanted to do out here, and kind of being loose and not really being wise. My great grandmother took my father and them and raised them just like she raised me. So I'm living with my grandmother at the moment, not wanting to be there, but I really have no other place to go. And I have a 10-year-old daughter that I'm still raising, I'm still responsible for, right? So now I'm in my grandmother's home. I'm listening to Luke Farrakhan. I'm listening to T.D. Jakes. I'm listening to Les Miles. Yeah. She would scorn me every time I would listen to those brothers. You know what she had on her TV? What? Joel Osteen. This white lady preaching. Right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
So this is how she was raised. So I'm listening to Farrakhan. I'm listening to Les Miles. I'm listening to black brothers that are talking about where we come from and who we are and everything. Yeah. And still talking about God too. Yeah. And we should love women, love Jesus, love your family, treat people good even though they treat you bad. Right. She would poo-poo on them so much. You know what I'm saying? So much. And I was like I would thought that she would love these people because it's our own kind. Right. But her mind frame was different. Her mind frame, even though she looked like me. Yeah. But she was, who are these? You need to be listening to these people. And I'm like, Grandma, those people, how do you even, how do you relate to that? What do they know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that, again, at a young age. So I'm like, wow, this is how my people think. Uneducated people think like this, right? So, and as I'm growing and doing and going through my struggles at the same time, I say that to say this, I've never been able to fully focus on black and white in my whole life. I haven't, man. I've been through situations where almost everybody that has helped me pass a certain level were a different race than me. I've been in situations where my own kind have totally abandoned me and said, I don't care. You going to college, reading those white people books? What do you think, you better than us? Man, you broke. You a joke. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You've been disposed before.
I've been disposed before by my own kind, black and Puerto Rican.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My own friends. I've been disposed. Yeah. Right? And then from my own experience, I've had a couple people that have took me and said, I'm sorry that you're going through this. I know that you don't have a mom and dad at home, boom, boom, boom. But I'm going to help you. I'm going to pack a lunch for you. So when you come to school, you ain't got to be hungry. Right. You can have lunch to eat because I know you don't have it. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to help you fill out financial aid so you can try to get to college because I see you got potential. Right? Those people were all people out of my race that did those things for me. Right? So I got my uncle in my ear and my grandmother in my ear telling me, leave these people alone or not to deal with these white people is this and white people is that. But from my own personal experiences, my friend, they have helped me find myself. Right. So I even though inside of me, some of my people would tell me, and even my friends like, what that white lady you with? I couldn't let my ignorance and my lack of education kind of tie me off from them. I see what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I had to be open and think with an open mind, right? To be able to learn from everybody's perspective and learn on my own. Yeah. I was able to learn on my own. That's why I'm so adamant about my peoples and what I'm standing for, what I want to fight for. Right. Because nobody taught me this. Nobody said, hey man, look man, you can't be pro-black and then sleep with that white woman. Yeah. Because how that's going to look to us when you come to the table, when you at home and you laying up with a white woman, how do we know that you just not, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I never could look at it that way because I am who I am around everybody.
So what you're saying is, even though, you're with a woman who you love, right? That's your fiance, you're going to marry her soon, and you guys have children together, and, you're co-parenting and all this other stuff. It doesn't stop you from being black, right? It doesn't stop you from fighting for your own people and for your own cause. So, because people will put that label on you, like, you can't even do it anymore. Of course. You cannot talk about fighting for us.
And you know what I do when they do it? What? I dispute what their cause, what they're saying, and I respect them, and I say, okay, I will do it a different way then. Right. If I can't be part of your group because I got a white wife and you don't think I'm sincere, all right, I'm going to show you. Because at the end of the day, we're going to meet again at the finish line. Okay. And you're going to see me here with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I also brought up too, you have a man he might have a black woman at home, and he might be out here talking pro-black.
Yeah.
Then at the same time, not really doing nothing for his people. But you might have a person out here that has a white woman at home, and he's talking pro-black, but he's doing stuff for his people.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So will I cancel him out because his wife is white?
Yeah.
Or will I but even though he's doing more for my people, I'm going to cancel him out? No. My thing is to be educated. Just because I'm with a white wife, I will not let her compromise my values for my people. Absolutely. So if that means I will leave you to defend my people, I will leave you to defend my people. And I'm just saying, no, I know,
I'm cool with that.
I'm just saying,
I know.
Because I will not allow, I didn't even allow my own black grandmother to shun me off of my black people.
I see what you're saying.
So I will not allow a white woman
right.
to shun me off of my black. I have a assignment.
Right. Have you seen Get Out though?
Yes, I have.
So I've
seen Get Out.
You remember the car scene when he was pulled over with whatnot, and then she started talking for him.
Yeah.
So one can say, does she truly understand your struggle though, as a black man? So in that perspective, just like I know a lot of people say this: for instance, if you didn't grow up where I grew up, how can you help me? Mm-hmm. Right? I see this happen to teachers all the time. Yeah. You didn't grow up in Hartford. Your mother and father wasn't on drugs. How can you really relate to me? You can empathize and pretend. Yeah. How can you really relate to me if you didn't do it? It's true. You're going home to your mother and father are cooking dinner tonight. Yeah. You can't truly emphasize or know where I'm coming from, right? Yeah. So you can do that in any situation if you really want to, right? Mm-hmm. I always look at it like, brother, you don't have to have a mother and father that are on drugs to relate to kids that have mother and fathers that are on drugs. You might not personally understand the experience and know the feeling, but if you are a good person, like if you took the boundaries out, you will relate to the kid probably even better because your perspective is needed coming from the home of a mother and father. Right. So like I look at it, that my perspective is needed. So and it's hard because like you'll get that. And sometimes I even check myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to check myself because I'm like, I got to make sure I'm on point too. Make sure I'm not compromising my values and what I truly believe in too. You know what I'm saying? And what makes it so great with my relationship with her is because she respects it and she agrees with it. Right. 90% of stuff I talk about, she agrees with, right? And so it's not a challenge for me to be myself with her. But does she understand it? She might not understand it as a person that went through it, right? But she understands it enough to follow my path and help me on my path. Okay, right? I can respect she that. Might not understand me enough to really know, brother, Kev, she doesn't know what it's like not to have a mother and father on drugs. Right. So when I talk about my pain, it's different than because you had a mother. Right. Even though her mother abandoned her when she got pregnant, she kicked her out the house and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But you had a mother though, even for that short period of time. I never had that. I see. So how can I tell her all the time? So it's hard. I tell this. Yeah. It's hard for you to 100% be on board with how I feel about my mother. Yeah. So you cuss your mother out, but but she helps you. Yes. And so I'm always telling you, watch how you talk to your mother. Right. You know what I'm saying? And you're looking at me like, but I'm coming from a perspective where I didn't have a mother to talk to like that. And so whatever my mother did for me, I would like, oh my God, I wouldn't even talk to her that way because I know I didn't have one. You're so comfortable a little bit. You had a mom. Yeah. So even though you agree with me, even though you still don't understand 100% where I'm coming from. Because if you did, you wouldn't sometimes react that way or think that way. So I don't expect her to understand me 100% my struggle. But what I do is I expect her to know that you have to respect this and help this or we can't grow. Right. She knows that. Right. So I wish more of our own brothers did that with their own black woman at home or our own people won't even say that to their own. That's true. Because it could be the same thing. They might not agree and there might be some friction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I look at it and the reason I say God's code, brothers, because I don't find it in the Bible or any scriptures where I'm supposed to
not love a person just because they're color. You see what I'm saying? I can't find anything. So even when I study Muslim, right? Is it Farah Muhammad? Elijah Muhammad's teacher? Wasn't he Caucasian?
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the pillar of the Muslim movement in America, right? That they worship. He had a black dad and a white mom, right? And I remember what they defend him. You know how they say when they defend him, when people say, "Oh, about you don't let whites in the movement," boom, boom, at that time, they say that happened so he can infiltrate, because at that time you couldn't even the Muslim couldn't even be taught in America.
Yeah.
If you looked like us.
Right.
So the only reason it was able to be brought to America is if he looked like them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So people, I think, brother, if I hinder you and say you can't be effective with these kids because all these kids in this classroom come from a broken home. Yeah. You don't come from a broken home. So I'm going to put you over here because even though I know you come with that passion, you're going to change. I can see it. Yeah. But you can't connect with these people. So I got to put you over here.
That's a good point.
That will be limiting you. Yeah. And also limit them.
That's
right?
a good point.
So I'm not going to hinder my progress or what I need to do for my people. Right. Because of I decided to fall in love with a white woman. Right. Because I didn't wake up saying I'm going to be with a white woman. Right. I actually, for the longest time, forced myself to be with my own kind, Kev. You know what I'm saying? I forced myself to be with a black woman. Even when I didn't want to, because I felt like when I was in high school, like, this is what I got to do. This is my peoples. I'm my peoples. I ain't with these white people. Yeah. But I realized that, like, I'm hindering myself, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm lying to myself, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go with what my heart says. Yeah. And at the same time, keep my mission at hand. And I'm not going to lie, man. Like, Jay-Z said it too. I can't help the poor if I stay poor. Yeah. I had to do certain things that other people might not agree with. Yeah. People don't agree with him right now with the NFL. You shouldn't do with Kaepernick and all this stuff. He had to do certain things to just even get Kaepernick. But people don't see that, Kev. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I don't put boundaries on things where, like, when I know, especially like who I love, because my love is not going to dictate my passion and my pride for my peoples. I know some people it might. Right. And some people deserve. Now, if you say, hey, Kurt, I respect that, but I still got to do more investigating before I completely roll with you, I'm going to say, I respect that and I want you to. Yeah. Because I want that, Kev. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want you to. I want people to, Kurt, I thought you said, but when you was home with that, I want that because I want to stay on my toes, man. Because my assignment is different than being who I'm married to. Yeah, and even my assignment is different than who my kids are. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My assignment is for who my God is and what I believe in. Absolutely, I believe in. I have to reach people, and the only way I can reach people in this white man's world is not looking at it with a closed mind frame. Yeah, because I've seen Just Mercy who helped that brother get his things together. A white woman. A white woman. Yeah. Brother, I don't care what they tell you. we can't function in their world by ourselves.
Yeah, nah, that's true.
We can try to build this.
That's true.
So when we build in schools true. And we get,
I knew you was gonna go there.
Who do we have to go to?
That's true. Yeah.
There is no black man that's owning these banks, brother.
Nah, that's true. I was like, dang, he's gonna breathe. He's the.
And I'm saying there is no black. I'm sorry, I gotta come with it. There is no black man that are running institutions that we can just go to him and get what we need and say, we're gonna build. He gave us $100 million grant. We're gonna build this building because guess what? We're gonna have to go to some white man that owns something to get to where we need to be. So if we're strategic in that sense, we ain't gotta cancel out every white person, but we ain't gotta hug and kiss every white person. Right. But we just gotta be smart, knowing in this world we live in, it's not our world, brother. If it was our world, that'd be different. We wouldn't have to ask nobody because I hear people all the time, we're gonna build a school and we're gonna do this and do that. Brother, none of them has done it without some type of signature of someone from a different race. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just, we might not like it. We might not want to agree to it. Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah. No, you got it.
I mean, I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
You got it. Yeah.
So it's up to you, Kevin. It's up to me. Absolutely. To not allow who I marry or who I work with or who to to dictate what I'm going to do for my peoples. I'm going to die, Kevin, fighting to make black that's because that's my purpose. I'm bringing black fathers back to the community. I'm bringing black fathers back to the household. They took black men and men in general, especially fathers, they took black men out the household and they replaced it with child support. Yeah, and with Husky and everything else they give us. Right. My purpose is to bring men, especially black fathers, back. That's going to save us and change everything. Yeah. Because black men are the ones that God's put the authority on and say, go change the world.
Without question.
I've given other men this and they quit on me and they use money and greed to change things. Yeah. It's you people that have been oppressed and that have been mistreated that are gonna do my duty.
Yeah, I agree. And before we get out of here, man, I want to ask this final question to you because I really, want to be respectful of your time. And I know we got to get to the word to the wise segment very, very soon. So I want to ask you this question. If you could just kind of just like give me your final thought on this. Okay. And then we can quickly get to the word to the wise segment. Yes, sir. I really want to be respectful of your time. So this final question I have for you, and, just give me your thoughts on it. This question is can and or will. All right. So can and or will folks ever become accepting of interracial love / marriages? And I don't mean just black people. Right. I mean all races. Can and or will folks ever become accepting of interracial love / marriages?
I think that that we'll have no choice, and people will eventually. We might not be around to see it though. You know what I mean? We might. I tell you, we have to love them more than they hate themselves. These people have to die off. And some of their kids have to die off.
The racists, the bigots.
Right. We have to, because they're going to keep teaching their crap to everybody. That's one reason why too, I also I respect interracial marriages because I guarantee you, I got some people on my wife's side of the family that are racist. Yeah. Right? Guarantee you. So like you have some people on my side. Did I tell you how my uncle told me? He said, if you bring a white girl home to my house, you better not, I don't know you anymore. This my uncle said this to me now, right? So you have, like you said, it's unacceptable on both sides. Yeah. One of the mentors that I have, one of my mentors, you know what he said to me? He said, interracial marriage to me is disgusting. And the way he said it, brother, I couldn't help but laugh. He said, that's your cup of tea, but to me, it's disgusting. But he has one of his grandkids interracial. You see what I'm saying?
And I think it goes back to what you said in regards to the Bible. God never said anything within the Bible that speaks upon, two people building a bond in a union, despising or loathing aside and not coming together in union. And in no way does the Bible, right, a book of love, talk about, discriminating and oppressing another's group because of love. Like love is love no matter what.
And if you find it or tell me, or if one of my mentors finds it to me, I might change my mind. Right. I might change because I'm not a person that's stuck into my way of thinking. Yeah. When I meet a good brother like yourself or someone else, my mind can change. Yeah. I've allowed things to come into my brain where I can expand my thought process. Yeah. So if I find it in somewhere a good word where it says that, I'm gonna be, oh shoot, I was thinking wrong. Right. I haven't found it since, and I've been studying a lot for years, for 16, 17, 18 years. I've been studying it because this is the way I've been able to build who I am. You know what I'm saying? So
excellent, man. I'm moving my chair over here because the heat, man.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So if you don't mind, we're going to. Oh, you.
Did I answer that question for you, brother? Okay, because sometimes I get in my little tangents. Nah, man. And I get so passionate what you ask me, and I forget that you even a certain question that you might ask me.
That's good. That's good, man. You're good. So the next thing I wanted to move on to. Wise community out there is our word to the wise segment. So I hope you've been thinking about a word. If you haven't, you can start thinking now. So. As you already know, word to the wise. So I'm going to start off first because we always allow our guests to finish off last.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
So my word to the wise today in regards to today's episode, I'm trying to think of one right now. I should have been thinking about it. But I think my word to the wise is understanding. And the reason why I choose the word understanding is because I feel as if in order, like you said, for racism to stop, if that ever is the case, in order for us to stop discriminating each other, and even going back to the first segment of the conversation in regards to if I'm not mistaken, it was, what was it? A case of injustice. There needs to be understanding on both sides. There needs to be understanding of what black people are going through. There needs to be understanding of what white people are going through. There needs to be an understanding of why this black man or black woman might date or marry this white man or white woman, and vice versa. There needs to be a form of understanding to see the two sides and to see and understand and unpack as to why things are the way they are. Whether we're talking about the criminal justice system or we're talking about, the people living in squalor and being impoverished because of their situations, black and white love in general. Maybe maybe that person, loved them in a way they've never been loved before, I can't speak to that personally, but I, even when talking to you and us having that conversation initially in the car when we first met each other at work, it led me to say, you know what, this man is coming from a different perspective. And don't forget too, he's biracial as well. So he's seeing love from a different perspective and a different side that you haven't, because you've only seen it one way your whole entire life, which is why, I thought it was important to have you on to talk about it. I
appreciate it too.
For sure.
I wanted to come in and talk to you because I felt this was important too. And I felt like not enough people are willing to ask these type of questions and have these type of conversations,
right?
And let it be out there in the public, because it shouldn't be taboo. It shouldn't be frowned upon. We should be able to have adult conversations and let all of our opinions be different, and we respect it.
Without a doubt. So that's my word to the wise community out there. Okay, my word is understanding. Kurt, what's your word to the wise today?
To this beautiful wise community out here, my word is resilience. I had that word in my head actually when we first was talking about this whole subject,
right?
And especially it keys together with the movie we saw, Just Mercy.
Yeah,
resilience. We have to be resilient as people. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna be wrong. We're gonna fail. We're gonna make errors. We have to bounce back.
Yeah,
we have to understand that our mistake isn't who we are. Our situation currently isn't who we are.
Right.
We have to learn how to bounce back. We have to learn how to, we have to learn how to take someone's no and be able to be okay with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
We can't be so fragile and so sensitive that we can't bounce back when we lose a job.
Right.
Or we can't bounce back when we lose a friendship. We can't bounce back when we lose a parent.
Preach, bro.
We have to bounce back.
Preach.
Because that's who I respect. When I look around the world, all the men even the men that you tell me about, they bounce back.
Yeah.
They went to jail for something.
Yeah.
They lost something.
Yeah.
They bounce back.
Yeah.
And that's how racism will end.
Right.
Us continuing to be resilient. They've tried to kill us for hundreds of years, brother, and we still here. We bounce back. We resilient.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. 100%. Wow. First and foremost, brother, thank you. Thank you so much for coming onto the show today. I really, really, really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure. Pleasure. I'm hoping I didn't bore your audience too much, and I'm hoping I can one day come back on and continue our growth and talk about other subject matters that are important to our community, man.
No, absolutely.
This was great moments. First time I've ever been on a podcast. So
oh, cool.
I appreciate that.
For sure.
Man.
Definitely. Wise community, you know that when we bring people onto this podcast, we bring great people that can bring enlightening perspectives, whether you agree with them or not, but people who will, perpetuate your thinking to make you see the world as you thought it was and to kind of, challenge you to redefine your whole entire perspective and look at it.
Yeah,
so Kurt, before I let you go, could you please be sure, because, people out there in the Wise community, they want to connect with all our guests. They want to ask them questions. They want to speak further to them in regards to the matters that we're talking about.
Yes,
could you please be sure to share maybe, your social media accounts or your email or anywhere the Wise community can reach out to you once they hear this episode?
Curtis Slaughter 82 @gmail.com. You can email me anytime and we can communicate. And I'm not too keen to giving out social media stuff because I'm not big on social media anyways. And a lot of my kids' stuff is there.
Cool.
So, but if I'm also not big into I don't talk to everybody.
Right.
Because, you got to keep your character guarded.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But yes, my email is there. You can email me anytime. I love to communicate though. I love to talk to good people.
For sure.
I love to share my experiences and share my word with good people.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping I hear from people and I can give them some stuff back, and we can always talk and keep building on this community of knowledge and of talking, of men and women being able to talk and get our feelings out and change the world, man.
Without a doubt,
change the world without violence, man. Without killing people.
Without a doubt, brother. Without a doubt. So before we let you go, man, just stay right here for a quick second. I have something to give you.
All right. It's a beautiful, beautiful podcast. Beautiful time, man.
Nah, man, I appreciate you. So, last time when Vatelli and Carl was here, I thanked them for coming on, and I was not expecting for you to give me coffee, man, this early in the morning, but I appreciate it because it got me ready for the day. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to present you with my book. I signed it and everything, man. That's yours.
This is from you.
That's a gift. Yeah. That's
this is beautiful.
That's my poetry collection, Life
This is beautiful.
But that's my thank you. That's my thank you for coming on to the show.
Man.
Thank you, Kurt. I really, really appreciate you.
Man.
That's yours. That's your gift, man. Appreciate you, my brother.
Brother, man, I can't stop smiling. If the camera was on us right now, they would see my ear to ear grin, man.
Right.
I love stuff like this. This is beautiful, man. I'll definitely get on this ASAP.
Absolutely.
Get on this. Hey man, I appreciate you giving me the time to talk to you.
No,
man.
we thank you,
and the community for listening to me as well.
Without a doubt,
and I will be talking to you guys soon.
Yeah.
Me and Kev, we talk. I bother Kev every day. People. I text him every day, every night. I send him stuff.
Yeah, man.
Like he can't get rid of me this fast. So,
man. Black upliftment, black empowerment. We're just empowering each other.
We're gonna change the world, man. Little by little, we're gonna change it.
And again, shout out to my boy Mark.
Shout out Mark.
Co-host Mark couldn't be here
Hope
today.
To meet you soon, brother.
But I know he's gonna listen to this episode and he's gonna get up with Kurt one day and
pick my brain as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you think I'm bad, man? Mark will come at you with the questions.
I love
man.
it.
So he'll be more.
I love it.
He's cerebral with it. He's like a Kobe. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to you, Mark. Can't wait to
email me, Mark. Email me.
For sure.
So introduce myself to you, brother.
For sure. Can't wait to get him back on next week's episode. So that's our show for this week. All right. You can find us online. All right. At floweredconcrete.net/the wise guys. All right. floweredconcrete.net /the wise guys. Also find us streaming right now on all platforms. If you haven't checked us out yet, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube. I'm thinking Breaker, Castbox, and many more other podcasts as well. And Anchor, shout out to our distributor Anchor as well. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? I think I got everything covered. Next week's episode, episode 21. 21 will feature my boy, man, a real cool guy who I've known all the way back from my time at Queensboro. Next week's episode 21. It's called This Is America. It's going to be a really good one. And I can't wait for all of you out there in the Wise community to tune in. So as I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is your boy, Kevin Anglade, and we are joined by our very special guest,
Curtis Sincere.
And we are the Wise Guys Podcast.
Peace.
We'll see you next week. And if Mark was here, y'all already know what he'd say. Stay wise.